Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's headlines. Abu Dhabi takes a big stake in Daimler. China expects car sales to stay strong. And a close-up look at the new Chevy Camaro. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Monday, March 23, 2009, and now the news. At a time when many automakers are just begging for money, Daimler just got a major infusion of cash, reports the Wall Street Journal. In this case, an investment firm in Abu Dhabi just bought 9.1% of Daimler stock, a deal worth $2.65 billion. That will make Abar Investments, PJSC, the largest shareholder in Daimler. Before this, Daimler's largest shareholder was the Emirate of Kuwait. Lots of Middle Eastern interest in Daimler. More on the GM bailout, and GM bondholders are not happy. The AP reports bondholders say GM's turnaround plan is too optimistic. They worry about getting paid in GM stock because if GM eventually ends up going into bankruptcy, that stock will be worthless. The irony, of course, is that if GM can't get a deal with its bondholders, it will go into bankruptcy. And we can expect more of this drama to intensify as we get closer to the March 31 deadline for GM to present its viability plan to Congress. The auto industry may be melting down around the world, but China is planning for 10 million in production and sales of automobiles this year. According to Gasgoo.com, China also expects 10% growth in production and sales for the next 3 years. The numbers are based on the country's restructuring and consolidating efforts of its automotive industry. Hans de Mont, the head of Opel, suggests they could close plants in Germany in an effort to save the company. According to the AFP, the company is looking at cutting departments and jobs and reducing pay as a way to cut costs, but hinted that closing plants is a possibility too. Opel wants to save over $1 billion in staff costs. Last week, we reported that GM is canceling plans to put a new 4.5-liter engine into its light-duty pickups. A few months earlier, Ford also postponed its small truck diesel. Now, it's Nissan's turn. Wards reports that Nissan is rethinking its plans to sell diesel-powered versions of the Maxima and Titan in the U.S. The Maxima was scheduled to arrive in U.S. showrooms in April of next year. The Titan was expected to share hardware with the Dodge Ram since it will be built by Chrysler. Freightliner's coming out with an advanced type of cruise control designed to boost the fuel economy of its heavy trucks. Autoblog reports that the system calculates the most efficient speed for a truck to travel at based on the slope of the road that it's driving on. The technology is called Run Smart Predictive Cruise, and it uses GPS map data to make its calculations. The system is an available option on the company's Cascadia model truck. Coming up next, a look at the brand new Chevy Camaro. We'll be back right after this.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
Chevy's reborn Camaro is about to give the Ford Mustang and Dodge Challenger some serious competition in the pony car segment. Base cars get a 304 horsepower V6 engine that's good for 29 miles per gallon on the highway. That's 8.1 liters per 100 kilometers. It comes matched with either a 6-speed manual or automatic transmission. The auto is smooth and offers push-button controls. The Eischen-built stick, on the other hand, is kind of clunky to shift. There are no complaints about the manual in the V8 powered cars, though. They get a much more satisfying unit from Mexican company Tremec. Unfortunately, with either gearbox, it's impossible to heel and tow because of the placement of the pedals. Stepping up from the base car, SS models get a 6.2-liter V8 that delivers up to 426 horsepower. From a standstill, 60 miles an hour can be yours in only 4.7 seconds. Underpinning the Camaro is a fully independent suspension that Chevy did an excellent job tuning. It keeps the car firmly planted on the road even when driving over washboard surfaces. The Camaro concept was a showstopper when it debuted, and so is the production car. The aggressive exterior draws a lot of attention, and unfortunately, so does its no-frills interior. The retro theme is stylish, but the dashboard and doors are all made of hard, hollow-sounding plastic. Something soft to the touch would be nice. Chevy is billing the Camaro as a 2+2, but its back seat is tiny. I'm only 5'8", and with the driver's seat adjusted to fit me, there was no room for passengers in the rear. Speaking of small things, the trunk is a decent size, but its opening is really small. Loading it is like trying to squeeze your luggage through a coin slot. These downsides are all pretty minor, and none of them matter when you're behind the wheel. All versions of the Camaro are fast and deliver a great driving experience. V6 cars can run from 0 to 60 in only 6.5 seconds. SS models are absolute rockets. The 2010 Camaro should start arriving at dealerships this week with prices ranging from $23,000 for an entry-level model to upwards of $40,000 for a top-of-the-line SS. And that's it for today's top news in the global automotive industry, except for this announcement.
Not much Autoline Live.
The new Chrysler has the opportunity to prove that private business model can thrive in this industry.
General Motors, Chrysler, and Ford have already failed doing a failure's job. In other words, it was a job that was failure.
We wanted a dependable second car.
And this Yugo's just what we need.
Everybody needs a Yugo sometime.
Visit our website for even more great content all week long. Autoline Extra, Dawn's Journal, podcasts, and even more. So click over and get the inside view at AutolineDetroit.tv.